Domination! Nation of domination. Nation of domination. We are the nation of domination. Nation of domination.
So, Brent Calendar, I realize you have nothing to do with your life when your profile pics you celebrating your summer season trophy last year.
It's an annual camping trip, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Oh, yeah, that's real cool. Bring an FPF trophy to the middle of nowhere up north.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Most sleeps with the trophy that night.
So
Eagle
there.
dreams of the trophy at night.
Oh, that's it's gonna be a few more years too. It's gonna be a few more years.
Yeah, more likely to happen: Eagle winning a trophy or being 5'3".
5'3".
No.
Yeah, you can stretch it out.
Welcome into Nation of Domination podcast with GM not here. It is going to be Brent Calendar who's taking over for today's episode. A lot to get to. We're going to talk about playoff scenarios, what could happen, who's in, who's out, who's the most flawed first place team.
You're actually gonna drop that bomb?
Yes, we are. We're going to talk about who the flawed teams are.
You're going to drop that bomb.
That's your position. And we'll talk about two games that could change the course of the Div 4 landscape. And finally, we'll ask Brent, if the finals were held today, who would be playing who on April 19th? Let's go into opening drive here. Marco in the middle, hammering brothers 39-20. Matt Bashara, 6 TD passes. Morgan Tyfel, 3 TDs, 3 INTs. Gordon Hogan, 4 TD catches. Safe to say now, Marco in the middle will be in the playoffs.
Yes, and yes, they definitely will be. They kind of got off to a slow start this year, but you know, like usual, they've kind of picked up their momentum and they're playing really well at the right time of the year.
I think it took them a while to get going.
It's because they were trying to figure out if it was going to be Matt throwing or Gordon
Hogan. Yeah,
and I think they're better off with Gordon playing wide receiver.
I think Gordon still has nightmares of Terry Tam's botched snap from last winter.
He does, because I was talking to him about the field on Saturday. He said,
really
"Don't talk about it."
But I think they found the right mix now for the chemistry. I mean, I think they know that for Matt Bashard to be the quarterback, he has more experience and more success at it. That therefore, it's probably a better bottom line to go with him. But
definitely,
you look at Morgan Tyfel; he had a great first half. First 4 games, many thought this guy was like Michael Vick out there.
That's a very good point, Mo.
But how big of a blow was this loss to the brothers?
It was huge, and I saw them prior to the game starting, and they were talking to each other, and they knew it was a big game, so they were trying to really get amped up for it. They came out in this game and played well. It was a back and forth affair in the first half, but Morgan, like, the thing is, I don't understand why he only wanted to throw the ball deep for, it seems, the majority of the game instead of taking.
Well, that's his MO, though.
Yeah, that's his MO. But I mean, instead of taking the check down in a game where you know you need to control the ball, especially against this offense. Where you need to control it, he's just throwing the ball up. And when you have Gordon Hogan playing safety, you're not going to get too many shots down the sideline.
I don't think he knows who Gordon Hogan was.
Yeah, that's before, probably. Now he does.
Now he does.
Gordon made a sick one-handed catch, by the way.
Right.
Odell Beckham like.
Well, don't tell him that. He might wear a Beckham jersey next time. Show me your TDs. Keeping with the paces, winning 19-18 over Eskimo Brothers. Mike Adana, 3 TDs, 2 INTs. Zach Sikowski, 3 TDs, 2 INTs himself. How much was this a gut check victory for Show Me Your TDs?
Huge gut check for them, and it's good to see because they started off the season. You know, they lost one of their best players due to injury, and to see them fight through the whole season. I saw Mike a couple of weeks ago, and like he was a little bit down because he knew they could be playing better. But for them to go out and beat an Eskimo Brothers team with Sean Steen on it is very impressive. And Show Me Your TDs. They've been. This isn't their first rodeo. So this is the type of game, you know, where you would say like the veteran team should come out and really put their stamp on it.
Well, according to Peasy, veteran teams are irrelevant at this point.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Eskimo Brothers can't wait for the season to be done.
Yeah, they need to figure out their quarterback situation.
Well, they're gonna have a good problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Is it Stokowski or Mitchell Muir?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I think
Stokowski's got a good arm.
I think Mitchell Muir's a better quarterback option.
A weaker arm though.
He's a better quarterback option for them. I think they should go with him moving forward.
Right.
And Sean C needs to get
healthy, fully healthy.
He definitely does. Okay, let's go to the playoff landscape here. Of course, this
is the best part.
This is the best part over here. And we'll look at the Geratron 3000 right now. We'll go through the conference B stands. I know people on our screens who are watching this, you can follow us at What's yours again? Be Real 21?
Be Real 20. I should change it. It's at that pretty boy BC.
Yeah, whatever, man. It's not like
The Real
hideous.
21.
At Eagle FPF, at Mo Conantino, of course, at FPF Flag Plus as well. Playoff landscape. We'll go bottom to top here. And for those who are watching this, the green means that they've clinched a playoff spot. Yellow still in play. Red, they're out of it. So we can definitely salute TCO.
And, well, both Chateauguay teams eliminated.
I look like a genius now because I said you guys would be 1-7 by the time week 8.
And you were definitely you were
damn
right,
right about
you were
that.
right on.
All right, let's go with Conference A. We'll go both teams first. Right now, Black Ice. We'll go 13th through 17. Ballbusters 13, LDD 14, BMS 15, Southside Ball 16. Back in the picture, surprise, surprise.
Yep.
And Black Ice with in 17th spot right now. Busters, LDD, BMS goes 2 points away from a playoff spot. Black Ice, 4 points away. Black Ice, this is do or die for them. We'll pick this game later on.
Yeah.
They have a lot of work to do, and they got off to a fast start, but it's faded away in the middle part of the season.
I still, looking at that list though, the only team I really see coming out of there is Ballbusters. I think Dylan Taylor's the best quarterback in that group, hands down. Maybe doesn't have the best supporting cast compared to the rest of those other teams. Like Blue Mountain State Goats, Dan Lazera is a really good quarterback, but his receiving core is a little bit lacking. Leduc Dynasty, they've kind of been hit or miss this year, but
they're hot now. They've won some games in a row now.
Okay, but I'm still saying, would you take Dylan Taylor or would you take the quarterback for Duck Dynasty right now? It's gonna come down to quarterback play. Whichever of those quarterbacks throws the most picks is gonna definitely won't make the playoffs.
I see right
now.
And
I trust Dylan more than I do the other guys.
Right now, I see 2 out of the 5 potential games.
2?
Yeah, Ballbusters and LDD.
Yeah, Ballbusters, I agree, yeah.
I think right now, you look at, say, the last 4 who are in for the playoff spots. That's Punt Returners at 9, Team Ethic at 10, Trapstars at 11, Zoo at 12. My Zoo will get in, no problem. I have no worries about them at all.
How can you just say that? You just throw that, like, that's just the already
They're
lock
gonna get
in?
in. Apologize for the technical difficulty. As you were saying before, we're talking about who would be in from the bottom bubble teams looking in. I said Ballbusters, LDD. Teams that I think would be safely in, my Zoo will be in. I am not worried about them at all.
Frank
I
K.
picked them. Frank K, Monte Bergeron, Dustrac, all these guys playing
true.
fantastic right now. Look, I am not sold on Trapstars or Team Atlas.
I was going to, thank you. That's the team I was going to say, Trapstars.
I think Trapstars right now look very vulnerable right now. I think Rashad at quarterback has not played well. I've emphasized this to GM numerous times, including yourself. If they're going to get in, their defense is what's going to carry them, but Rashard's got to play better. If he doesn't play better,
he's got to stop running the ball. He's got to throw the football.
Well, he can't throw a football. He can't.
Yeah.
He's thrown like 5 INTs, I think, in multiple games this year. We had a.
The bet. What was he going to run for 500?
Yeah, or throw for like 20 plus
20 plus
INTs.
He
INTs.
throws more INTs than Mokan.
Oh, we going to let him do you like that? Yeah, that's my
sorry, I didn't see Eagle from the his Kermit the Frog headphones. Again, I think for LDD and Ballbusters, they'll get in. I think Team Ethnic is on that borderline of maybe not being in the playoffs along with Trapstars.
Although their quarterback he's a pretty good guy, I just think that their supporting cast isn't that strong for Team Ethnic. But they've always traditionally leaned on their defense. So
right,
if they get solid quarterback play out of, I think his name is Lawler, then they'll be fine.
Recipe for Disaster Ghost, I think, will be in. At
safe
10
to say,
points each.
10 points.
The green spots we know are clinched. We know that right now with Coyotes 1, 6 Fast Guys 2, Schmoney 3, Cream Team 4, Crisp 5, 6 Nars at
really
6. However, we don't know who's going to finish where, 1 through 4, and at least 5 through 6. In terms of Conference B, and we'll talk about the top end divisions in a bit here, same thing. Surprisingly enough, Esco Brothers still have a chance to get in the playoffs. But we will probably unofficially write them off. Lobster Dinner 13, Playground 14, Longhorns 15, Sandlot Saints 16, Certified Fly Guys 17, Whispers 18, Les Affreux 19. They're pretty much ranging from 6 to 4 points here. Lobster Dinner 1 point behind Brothers for 12th spot. Dragons also in the 11th spot with a point lead as well. Who's in, who's out from the bottom looking in?
In from the bottom teams, I'm going to say that Playground gets in because they have a really good quarterback. They have a good defense. They have good receivers. They just haven't been all there together.
They lost Lobster Dinner this week, so they lose that tiebreaker with Dinner in that regard.
So maybe I'll change that and I'll say Lobster Dinner because of the tiebreak. But I'll still pick those two. I'll say Lobster Dinner and Playground, but if I had to take away from one, I'm going to go Longhorns. They were on the doorstep of getting in the spring playoffs last year, and they lost on a 1-point conversion. I don't think they're going to let that happen again. If they could get 2 wins here, then I could see them getting in. But from Longhorns down, I don't see any other teams getting in. Sandlot Saints haven't really been together that well. Certified Fly Guys, been a real hit or miss team this year. Whispers, suspect quarterback play, and the other teams are...
Okay, here, I'll make it simple for you right now. Fly Guys, Whispers, the Eskimo Brothers, out. Sandlot Saints, on their deathbed, they'll be out if they lose on Monday. And I don't see them winning at all because they have had an ever-rotating lineup of characters. They're out.
Okay.
Longhorns, I think, have a chance. They're playing better now. Watched them play in Lachine the last couple weeks. They had a big win last week. Pardon me. They need to play that again. If they do get that output once more, they get 7 points. They're at least at 13th, if not 14th, maybe in the playoffs here. As for Lobster, I like them a lot. I think their offense has been figured out. Playground, too inconsistent, and I think their inability to keep themselves focused.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of OCs on
composure focus has cost them yards. I think that will hurt them in the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with you.
Show me your TDs. Mustangs DG, I think will get in, but barely. As for the green part, which we'll get to very shortly here, I do think, again, 2 of the teams on the outside looking in will be in, and I believe Dragons will be one that'll be on the outside.
You really think the Dragons are going to fall out?
I think so, too. They're bound. Simo Dagenais, man.
No, man.
He's playing better, but
he's playing better. It's just his receivers got to squeeze the ball.
He's due to lose somewhere.
Wow. See, they're trying to jinx you, Simo. I believe that he can get it done.
Okay, looking at the top of the green, the top 4 division teams right now, do you see a change at the top? And again, if you look at our script here, we'll have 2 impact games, which we'll talk about a bit later on here, but Coyotes do play the crisp, and that could be a flip-flop of teams and also division title. But right now, looking at Conference A and Conference B, we'll go with A first. Top 4 teams. I see a dramatic change because of how close 1 through 6 is, with the point disparity being 1 or 2 points.
I could see the Coyotes dropping 1 or 2 spots. I imagine 6 Fast Guys plus Ryan will finish with the top seed. I picked them to finish number 1. And I can see... Oh, no, but they're in the same conference as 69ers, so... I'll say that Crisp overtakes the division lead from the Coyotes, too, also.
Don't give the pick now, you idiots.
Doesn't matter.
Idiots.
It doesn't matter. I believe it. I was going to say that again.
Give him a look, please.
Why is Mark Wahlberg giving me this look?
It's the eagle look. It's the eagle look.
Yeah, I got to stop
He might look like Mark Wahlberg, but he ain't Mark Wahlberg.
You're not Mark Wahlberg.
No, he's not.
I mean, looks like a radio host.
Oh!
And I am a broadcast journalist.
He's a press. This is Mo Cohen coming live to you from TSN 69.
Conference A, again, I'll look at the Niners, Crisp, Cream Team, Shmoney, 6 Fast Guys, Coyotes. Remember, Niners beat 6 Fast Guys, so they have the tiebreaker on them. But right now, 6 Fast Guys is their saving grace. They have a tie, which has put them a point above the Niners as we speak. Shmoney, I think, will be the 3
I think they'll
seed.
stay there.
Yeah, they are moving up and down here. Cream Team, now, I know PZ mentioned in the podcast previous to this show about Sea Assassins and what the roster could be. Cream Team could be losing guys.
Really?
Due to the fight that happened last Saturday in Brossard.
There was a fight
now,
in Brossard,
that
too?
happens. That's why I break stories. If that happens,
Ian Rappaport live in the building.
a week later.
Broadcast journalism.
Now, if that happens where they do lose bodies, that could alter their outlook and maybe being a team in the
And they
middle
could
pack.
fall, or
and
they
not
could
be in
fall
top
out of the
4.
division lead, definitely.
We'll see what happens. Division B, Conference B. Malud 1, Grip and Rip 2, Backyard Bullies 3, Shamrocks 4. And according to the highlight that Eagle has posted, Shamrocks will be officially...
3.
They've clinched.
They've
They've
clinched.
clinched 1 to 4, one of them.
Okay, fair enough then. Game Changers, big win over Ace Squad last night. 2.5 Dans in 6. Marco Middle in 7th place right now. So that's a lot of teams to look at here. But how about this? The 3 on the outside. Game Changers, 2.5 Dans, Marco Middle. Do you see them altering the top 4 in any shape or form?
Game Changers could get up there. And I see Game Changers maybe getting into the top 4. Maybe they might beat out one of those division leaders out there. It would be Malud that's in their division.
Well, you know what? I think Changers could be a team to look out for. 2.5 Dans have played every top tier team very tough.
Yeah.
Their issue
Rope-a-dope.
is Yeah, well, their issue is their inability to score in red zone. I think they can't figure it out yet.
But time of possession is what they win with too.
Yeah,
They're going to hold the ball a lot. If they can score in the red zone, like you said, they're having difficulty. If they can score, then they're a very tough team to play against.
All right, those king of the mountains right now of the top 4 spots. If the playoffs start today, who do you think they don't want to face in the middle of the pack?
Who they wouldn't want to face?
Who they wouldn't want to face? Going with Conference A. I'll tell you one team that no one wants to face in the playoffs in Conference A. Aside from the Zoo.
Aside from Zoo, it's obviously Crisp.
Well, Chris, I think. We'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Okay, fine.
on.
But beside them, I would say the team you wouldn't want to play is probably the Ghosts because they have a deep receiving core. That's not a team that's not a team you can line up and say, okay, we're just going to take away the best guy and no one else will hurt us.
I agree. I think Ghosts is a team to look out for. The defense has played well. Their offense can put up points. Galmon is the type of quarterback that can put up points.
Exactly.
I mean, look, the scoreline was the 3-point loss to 6 fast guys, but he put his points up afterwards when the game was out of hand.
Okay.
So I think Ghosts would be a team to look out for that no one would want to face. In Conference B right now, there's a lot deeper talent of teams because of the overspill of teams who are on the outside looking in.
Right.
But who would you not want to face if you are the top 4?
I wouldn't want to play Marco in the middle because it's the tempo. They're kind of like almost like a 2.5 dance, but they're a little bit more. They're not a little bit more. They're a lot more polished, but they can really hold the ball from you and milk the clock. And that's when you start to press as an offense. And when you press against that defense, that's when they capitalize and they get those turnovers. So for me, I'm gonna have to say Marco in the middle.
I'll tell you what. Show me your TDs. If that team is healthy and has a roster intact,
if James Floriani's playing for them, that's
if he's
huge.
healthy.
That's what
If he's healthy.
Well, I saw him running for Preds. So
look, they would play A squad if the playoffs were to start today. They would play Mustangs DG if the playoffs were to start today. But if they were to get by them, they would play the number 1 seed in Malud, and
that'd be a good game.
They'd give them a good run for their money. I think that's a team no one will want to face in the first round.
You think Mike Adona's a playoff quarterback?
We'll find out.
A lot of pressure on him this season.
He has a lot of pressure on him this year. A lot of talent to work with. Let's see if he comes through in the clutch.
Yep.
Coming up next, we'll talk about flawed leaders. Of the current division leaders, who is the most flawed going into the last 2 weeks into the playoffs?
Damn.
And who could be the team that likely loses their opening playoff game? Find out here on Nation Domination with Brent Eagle and yours truly, Mo Khan.
Ian Rappaport.
Calling the Audible has been brought to you by the English Montreal School Board's DEAL program. Distance education for all learners will allow you to obtain your high school diploma or prerequisites for CEGEP or vocational studies from the comfort of your own home. It's never too late to go back to school. Learn anywhere at your own pace and get your diploma. Call 514-788-5937 for information or visit www.distanted.ca for more details. Welcome back to Nation Domination. Eagle here, Eagle FPF. That pretty boy BC.
Yeah, Mo, you got it.
Mo19 as well on Twitter. Talk about flawed leaders here. We'll talk about the current division leaders right now. Who has the most flaws right now? Brent, we'll go with Conference A first. Of the 4 division leaders, who is the most flawed team?
The most flawed team I'm gonna say is Cream Team. Is Cream Team because I don't think that their quarterback is
Jared Humphrey.
I don't think Jared Humphreys is the type of quarterback you have to be too afraid of to play because it's just him getting the ball to his weapon. So if you can just keep all those players in front of you, don't let them go too deep on you, then you shouldn't have too much trouble playing them because he's not going to stand in the pocket and beat you. That's what I would say.
What about in Conference B? Who is the most flawed team right now with
of the top 4?
Yeah.
Tough. I'm gonna say Backyard Bullies only because I think Rich Humes.
Okay.
No, I think Rich Humes is a really good quarterback, but I think he has of those top 4 teams, he has the weakest supporting cast compared to the other ones. That's why I would say it. But I'm not saying that they're a weak team. I'm just saying his cast compared to Shamrocks, Grip and Rip, and Malud, he's got the weakest supporting cast.
All right,
Rich has to do the most on that team.
I'll tell you one thing right now. Conference A, I think Shmoney, they're
Really?
good, but they haven't faced any real competition yet. That might be their deterrent.
Nice.
Conference B, I think back our bullies. I agree with you to the extent because their supporting cast, it's all Rich Humes.
It's all Rich Humes.
He's like the Will Smith of the Bel Air Prep football team. Shamrocks, that is a team that I think is flawed.
I like that.
They
slow starts.
Yeah, they come in. Look, I'm not gonna call them out, which I will now. But they just kind of come in laissez-faire, and they have to be a lot more assertive, much more confident. I think that might be.
Laissez-faire?
It's laissez-faire. Isn't it laissez-faire?
It's laser-faire.
I'm using the
Laissez-faire.
Steve Young pronunciation when he described Chris Sims, and then Phil Sims was like, "Don't talk about my son like that." Hey, a laissez-faire in Tampa Bay. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. Boom. You know. And anyway, point being is this: I think Shamrocks are a team that can.
Do you think they depend too much on the Alexis brothers?
Yeah, of
Personal?
course. Like it cost him a game, even though they lost the game when he threw the football. So
McDoug has a hard on for the Alexis brothers.
yeah, he does. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? Are we gonna play with Alexis? Okay,
love that
A
you
and
call
B
him
right now more likely to lose their opening playoff game with those division teams right now. Opening playoff
Of the
game.
top four?
Yeah, the top four. We'll go with Conference A.
Shmoney, depending the matchup.
Well,
Because I like the point you made that they haven't played any real competition. Let's say Shmoney had to play a team like Ghosts
right
or
now,
Recipe for Disaster.
right now,
I can see them losing that
If
game.
the seasons were to carry over, they would play the Niners, 69ers in the first round.
Okay.
So they could lose to the 69ers.
Yeah, definitely. No, you don't think so, Terry? 69ers, if that tall guy does some damage, that guy's a beast when he wants to be.
That's Mr. Known about him. Not a big fan of him.
Mokan.
Conference B right now. Who is vulnerable to lose the opening playoff round? And there's some teams in there that I think can lose.
The opening playoff round?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say Dragon. If the Dragons get in, I would
Well,
say.
division.
Oh, division?
Top four.
Ooh, grip and rip because of matchups. That's what I'll say.
Okay, fair enough then. Let's go change of course here. We'll talk about the two games this week that have a huge impact on the change of course. Coyotes, Crisp, Malud, game changers. First game here. Who needs this win more, Coyotes or Crisp?
Coyotes need this game more because they want to finish tops. Because if they have to play in the first round against in that range of 5 to 12, they could potentially play a team that they're going to lose to. Because I don't think that the Coyotes are so unbeatable. I just think that they've kind of had a little bit of an easier schedule, and when they start playing the top competition, that's where they might struggle. I think Sam Feder's a good quarterback, but not anything that's unstoppable. Their defense is solid, but his receiving core isn't anything that should scare any of these teams. So I would say that it's the Coyotes that are going to lose it.
What about Malud game changers right now? Who needs this win this weekend? Malud and game changers both in play for the 1 seed.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll say that the game actually. Ooh, no, I'm gonna say Malud need this one a little bit more because they've had a little bit of playoff drought in the last few seasons after they won the Division 5 championship a couple of years ago. So I think they need to have their confidence sky high going into the playoffs. Game Changers more recently came off some success in the Division C playoffs. So and Saquez is rolling right now. So I don't think he's too worried about who he plays. So I would say that Maluds need this.
Yes or no? Does this weekend's games, these two in particular games, change the entire course of the playoff hierarchy for both conferences?
Definitely because of the reseeding. Definitely.
All right, then here we go. Final 4 picks for the week.
Spreads?
Spreads included.
Yes.
Don't open your legs, everyone, like yourself. Okay, first game. Dragons, Ballbusters, 3.5 points for Dragons.
Dragons are 3.5 favorite?
Yeah.
Woo! I like Simon Dagenet. His receiving core is suspect, though. That's the problem with that team. I watched Ballbusters play against Chris this week, though they were missing Terrence Morsing. The Ballbusters team looks ready. I think Jeff Brown's going to have the guys ready to go. Dylan Taylor's my boy. So I'm going to pick Ballbusters to break your spread.
Okay.
By 4
right.
points.
Brothers Cream Team, 4.5 points for Cream Team. And that's depending on what happens to Jared Humphries. and all these
If
guys.
Jared Humphries plays, I'll take Cream Team with that spread.
Okay. Coyotes Crisp, 6.5 points for Crisp.
That's good point spread, Mo. I'll take Crisp in that game, but I'll say Crisp by 10.
All right, then. And the last game we have on docket here, Malud Game Changers, 2.5 points for Changers.
Yeah, I'll stick with that. I think Sakez pulls one through against a very talented Malud team, but I think they just slip up a little bit.
All right, I'm going to ask you this question, as I'll ask GM this question next week. If the finals were held today, who's playing and winning right now?
From Conference A, it's going to be 6 Fast Guys plus Ryan. Conference B, Grip and Rip.
All right. Okay. And who wins right now?
Grip and Rip.
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, what did you learn in today's episode, Brent?
I learned today that Eagle is not as highly rated as a producer as everyone says he is. He was kind of lazy today and laissez-faire.
All right, Eagle, I learned that guys can't shut up when I'm taking work calls before...
Banana 4? Do you know how to spell Eagle?
Banana for the show.
This isn't CMAP. I'm just...
I learned that Brent thinks Eagle looks like Mark Wahlberg.
A ghetto version of Mark Wahlberg.
You look like his brother who hosts that show on 80 Wahlburgers more than Mark Wahlberg, so Eagle's taking his licks today. All right, well, that's it for Nation Domination. Coming up next is You'll Never Walk Alone. Don't forget, we have one more week left of regular season action coming up, which we will do next week in previewing week 11, and afterwards we'll have our playoff run in 2 weeks' time. So without further ado, good night, you, Brent. Good night, Eagle. Good morning, South Korea.